Hello and welcome to Training Tuesday for Tuesday, March 9th, 2021. I'm Lori with Behavior Education, and joining me this week are Vashti, our false water cobra, Amun and Amunet, our two python regis, and two of our corn snakes, Sundust and Neroin. I hope you enjoy the different species that we're bringing to you this week and their different levels of training. I'm going to narrate so that you know exactly what's going on.
Learner number 1 this week is our false water cobra Vashti. Here she is basking just before our training session. This is training session number 3, where we are practicing her shifting behavior from her primary habitat into her holding bin. She was ready to go and she did a really great job. So she's waiting at the door for me. I just opened one door today because she was so enthusiastic. I didn't think I would need to do more than that. She did enthusiastically shift into the holding bin, and she has quite an active feeding response, and her body sort of thrashes around and moves all over the place as she's eating. So you saw that she started to back out of the tub a little bit, and I touched the end of her tail just to get her to move forward so that she was completely in the holding tub. So she ate in the holding tub, and she did get another reinforcement item while she was in the holding tub waiting. So she got not only the food item that rewarded her for shifting, but then she got another food item for being in the shift box. And now as she shifts back into her primary habitat, she's going to get a third food item as reinforcement. And you can see that she has quite a reactive feeding response. And even though she's doing the behavior that we want, that's one of the things we're working on, is to calm that feeding behavior down just a little bit. Learner number 2 is our python regis, Amun. This is our male, and he's just over a year old. He's just at the beginning stages of target training. He got no handling and no training at all when he first arrived here because he was here for another study. He did a really great job there. He oriented towards the target and he immediately took his reinforcement, so great job. This is repetition 2 during the same session. Big yawn, and he's much more engaged with the training this time. In fact, he gets over enthusiastic right here and he strikes the target. That's okay. That isn't a desired behavior, but he is figuring out that he has to interact in some way with the target in order to earn reinforcement, and so that is a very good thing. Learner number 3 is our female python regis, Amunet. She's a couple of months older than Amun, and she took a little while to warm up here. She oriented towards the target right away, and then she just took what seemed like forever to move towards the target. And I chose to reinforce her before she actually touched the target because I thought that she was losing interest. She did take the reinforcement, and then we did a second session. So here you're seeing session 2, and she oriented towards the target again right away, and then she was a little bit more enthusiastic about interacting with the target during repetition 2, and she actually approaches the target and tongue flicks at it, and that is the behavior we want. So she did a really great job. Again, she's a beginning learner. She has not been training very long. And learner number 4 was inadvertent. So this is our Cornsnakes Sundust. She came from Port City Pet, and I was pulling some shed out of her enclosure, and I didn't see that she was out, and it startled her, and then she flew out of her enclosure, and it startled me, and I startled her again, and she ended up darting underneath her exoterra. And so she is lying here between the bottom of her exoterra and the top of the metal shelving. There's her head. So of course my husband asked if I wanted him to move the enclosure, and I said no, I'll just go get her target and I will target her out from under there. And so that's what I'm doing. I am showing her her target, and she is actually a very well target trained snake. So her head was sticking down, she oriented towards the target, and I tried to deliver the reinforcement here, and she pulled her head up, which confused me. I thought, well, did I startle her again? But no, she was just finding a quicker way out and an easier way out from the position that she was in before. So she isn't stupid, and here she comes out from underneath her enclosure and out of the metal shelving. So I go ahead and give her the reinforcement when most of her body is out, and then I gently manipulate her tail from around the metal bars here. They do have prehensile tails. Corn snakes can coil their tails around things, and they can hang down from branches, perches, and other objects. So I was very gently trying to keep her from coiling her tail around the bars. She dropped her food for a second, and then when she realized I was going to pick her up and move her, she grabbed her food really fast so that she could take it with her. And I moved Sundust along with her meal back into her enclosure, and everything ended well. This is just one of the benefits of having a really well target trained snake, is that you can use it for a recall behavior, which I have done with a few of our snakes. This is Neroin. He is another snake that we got from Port City Pet, and he's wedged up there on purpose between a very high shelf in his enclosure and the lid to his enclosure. And I just thought it would be good practice after what just happened with Sundust if I targeted him down from his ledge. And this is a really simple training session, but there is nothing wrong with keeping it simple, but continuing to review the behavior so that when you need that behavior for an emergency or for a practical purpose, the snake remembers the behavior and doesn't hesitate to do it. And that's why in repetition 2, that all I'm asking him to do is change direction. He was looking left, and I just ask him to orient to the right, and he does that. He changes direction, he orients to the target, and he approaches it calmly, and he gets reinforced. So perfect job. And since we started with Vashti, we're going to end with Vashti. This is just another session on a different day of her doing the shifting behavior. And she's swimming in her swimming pool, and I ask her to shift out of the pool and into her temporary holding bin. And you see that she's much calmer this time. And I had moved the bin a little bit further away from her habitat, so all of her body gets into the bin without me having to prompt her or anything, and she did a great job.
Everybody, thank you so much for watching. Please don't hesitate to contact me at behavioreducationllc@gmail.com if you have any questions, or you can reach me through my website, behavioreducation.org, or on Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube. Until next time, everybody, please remember to be kind and love your animals.